Do you remember?
Chandler Jones?
Chandler Jones. Thank you. Chandler Jones. Everybody was like, oh, if we don't get Chandler Jones, we're screwed, blah, 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 blah. And then we got Randy Gregory and we're like, oh, maybe, and both of them ended up like washing out. And they both got humongous contracts. You just don't know. Like, it's underwhelming, no doubt. But you can lose your season if you overpay today. So I think they're just kind of biding their time, and they did make moves to get money. So I think they have a plan in mind. Now, again, a week after the draft, a day after the draft, I'm either going to be like, I understand what they were doing, or I have no idea what they were doing. I think they're setting up for certain people in the draft, but we'll see.
But yeah, why do you need to open up cap space? Mark, I guess, like, what are your thoughts on this whole thing, man? Is there a plan left?
No, I don't think so. It's an F- of an offseason, and I don't want to be like this negative Nancy the whole time because it's not like my style. But I think anyone saying that this was the Broncos' plan the whole time is just lying to themselves. I think that they got outbid, outplanned, and prepared for specific guys they wanted, maybe one or two, and then they just settled. Otherwise, they would have gotten these deals done with their current players before free agency even started. Makes no sense. It makes zero sense to me. I don't think that. I just think that they had a plan and it went to shit right away. It was it's almost unexplainable. And I think the fact that like I have to like defend the reason why I think it's unexplainable is like on Twitter and all that, which is Twitter's Twitter, but that's what gets really frustrating is the fact that like, listen, if the Broncos' plan was to just re-sign all their guys and run it back again, that's cool, but don't sell us this whole like we need to be aggressive. We understand the window. We have the dead money's gone, blah blah blah, and then just be like, oh no, we just love our guys. We wanted to have all of our guys back. Like you can bring your guys back, that's fine, but you can't just be like, oh, we're gonna rely on the draft to be able to fill in these needs that we have when the track record shows that a lot of the times your rookies aren't going to play right away. I mean, it doesn't mean that it can't happen, but I don't think that was a part of the plan. I don't think it should be a plan. And I just think that they dropped the ball, to be honest with you. They might've mismanaged the market. Or maybe thought that, teams would take a little bit less. If it's $1 million or $2 million less, some players would take a little bit less to come here. And that wasn't the case.
I think what happened was plan B. I think that was the backup plan. We'll run it back if we can't get certain guys. Yeah. And then when they didn't, they did.
Yeah. But like my question to them would be, why couldn't you? Is it because you didn't want to? Is it because the players didn't want to come here? Because I'd feel a lot better if it was the players just chose to go somewhere else. Like if ETN chose to go to New Orleans over Denver because he wanted to be home, fine. I can deal with that. I'm not going to sit there and say, well, I'll offer him $14 million a year. Like I don't want to be a desperate franchise, but you can't just keep missing and then run it back with the guys and then try to sell us that, this got a little bit too expensive. We didn't want to go to that. So we're just going to re-sign J.K. Dobbins for a deal that's higher than Tyler Algiers and not talk about his injury concerns, but we're going to release Dre Greenlaw because of the one injured season that he had. It's just the hypocrisy seems crazy.
I don't think I said this right before you got in, but I don't think the Dre Greenlaw thing was just because of the injury concern. I think it was the mental. I don't think they trusted him. And that combined with the injury stuff is why. I think if he picked everything up perfectly mentally, they probably would stick with him over Singleton. But that was tough to when they signed within like minutes of each other. It felt like they signed Singleton, they dropped Greenlaw, and it was like, okay, well,
yeah. And I kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, honestly, I was like really hopeful that, okay, we re-signed Sternad. That's the only move I was like actually cool with. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. So it looks like they're going to run it with Greenlaw and Sternad. Worst case, you're thinking that's cool. As long as they don't end up signing, Alex Singleton. They did, convoluted the room. And then they're like, oh, we're just going to cut Dre Greenlaw. And it's like, dude, I don't know like why you would do that now anyways. Maybe sit there and try to trade him. I know next week they have a $2 million thing that they'd owe him $2 million more in guaranteed, but like take the entirety of that week, see if you can trade him, discuss it more. Maybe paying him the $6 million or whatever the small cap number was, like having competition there is a good thing. But now all you've done is like, you haven't gotten better in the top end and you've hurt your depth even at worst case.
Now, if in a month we draft Jacob Rodriguez or a Trotter or somebody like that, now how do you feel about the room then?
I don't feel like much different about it personally, because it's like, okay, how much is he really realistically going to play? My problem isn't so much that it's just Alex Singleton, the player, more than what Alex Singleton returning to the Broncos, who it prevents us from signing and going after. Because you're always going to have that conversation of like, well, we could have gone after Devin Lloyd, but we had Alex Singleton, we had him at a cheaper price, and it made more sense. It's the same kind of thing I was always talking about with Sutton. It's just like, we could go out there and get AJ Brown, but we have Sutton. So it wouldn't make sense to bring in AJ Brown because we have Sutton and we don't want to get rid of him. Or, we'd have to figure out, it just adds another layer of confusion to everything.
Dude, Alex Singleton's never going to be taken off the field.
Exactly. And
they've
proven that.
Even in favor of Justin Sternad, man. Like, he's still going to be the one linebacker on the field in third down. He's still going to be the guy that's putting himself responsible with VJ for covering these running backs out of the backfield, or being that linebacker that needs to bring down a scrambling quarterback who's trying to scramble for a first down, man. Like, it doesn't matter who we draft. We saw that Jahdae Barron barely sniffed the field in the AFC Championship game. He played 5 snaps. Like, VJ just isn't a guy, I don't think, that's going to play these guys a significant amount. And again, I could understand it if Justin Sternad is our top linebacker going into the season.
Definitely.
That at least gives you a path towards a highly drafted linebacker playing down the line.
Yeah.
But you completely block any chance for this guy to get on the field.
Yeah.
With the money that you've invested in both of them.
Yeah. And at least you feel like with Sternad, like, there might still be meat on the bone there, right? There might still be some room for improvement. You've seen it throughout his career. Like, he could potentially even take his game to a higher level. And then if you ended up getting a Jacob Rodriguez, like, he could sit there and use the year to, fill in certain roles, kind of like what Jahdae did, and then be good to go for 2026. But at least you feel like, all right, we haven't capped ourselves out. Like, last year, in my opinion, was probably the best football that Alex Singleton has played in his entire career, and it wasn't close to good enough. And I don't think anyone firmly believes he's just going to get better. Like, you see it a lot of times with linebackers in the NFL. It takes them several years to get going. I mean, Sternad is that exact perfect example, but up to a certain point, and then they decline, and they decline usually pretty quickly if they, physically can't really stay there. And it's not like, Singleton is the most athletically gifted person in general. I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to bring back an aging 32-year-old linebacker that is the biggest liability on our team, on our defense, by far and away. Every single year, it's a talking point. And so, I mean, the cool thing about having Jacob Rodriguez is at least you're like, all right, you have a plan for the future there. That's cool. But I mean, a lot of the mindset with this team for me has shifted to the futures now. It's different than it was a couple of years ago, where it was like build out for the future. Now it's like the futures. Now this team proved it. If we we're a wild card team, or we lost in the first round of the playoffs, whatever. Okay, cool. We can keep building for the future. But dude, we have one more year. Next offseason at this time, you are going to be having a discussion about a $250+ million contract for Bo Nix. It will be signing it next year. So you kind of wasted it. I feel like you just wasted a really big time opportunity. But that's just me.
Yeah. We'll get to a few more comments, man.
I hate being the doom and gloom. This is like not.
Dude, I know, man. I hate getting on here just bitching all day. That's what.
Yeah, I know.
All I've been doing.
Like, I usually make fun of those people, but like today was just like unacceptable for me. And to try and even defend it would be like very, very like if we played a game and you're like, all right, Mark, you have to just defend these picks. It would be hard, man. Like it would be really, really hard for me without easily like having a very simple rebuttal, but
this reminds me of when Calvin Booth started doing all that dumb stuff, trading all those picks for Deron Holmes, drafting freaking Hunter Tyson, this guy Jalen Pickett, these guys that weren't even on like mock draft boards in like the first for the entire 60 pick of the draft, man. And you're like, what is Calvin Booth doing? Is he just a mad genius going to develop all these scrubs that are going to help us then become a dynasty? And it just fell flat on its face. It's hard for me to feel like when there was this amount of expectation with the team, I don't think I can speak from about any other time where this team has had championship aspirations and they've been a legitimate contender. And then in that offseason, they have failed to make any moves in free agency that help improve the team. We didn't improve today at all.
No, it got worse. And there's no denying that. I mean, we did and here's another thing too. I'm not even asking. I wasn't even like people were coming at me on the I was having fun on Twitter. I was a little bit annoyed, but it was also a lot of fun. But people were like, what Super Bowl contending team won the offseason, the year prior and signed all the top free agents? Guys, I'm not even asking for a lot of free agents. I literally wanted one, maybe two big time signings. I don't care. Like I wasn't sitting there saying like, let's go out and spend $150 million and get everybody. Like we weren't even asking for a lot. But my thing is like, you need to be able to feel like you're coming out of the offseason an improved team. And you knew you were going to lose John Franklin Myers, and that was going to be tough. But you're thinking, all right, if we can upgrade at linebacker, that might make up for it. Now it's even harder because you're bringing back the same linebackers who struggled last year, and you're down a defensive lineman. And these defensive linemen, they make the job a lot easier for the linebackers. So, and you can make the argument that they covered up a lot of the flaws that the linebackers had, not even just Singleton, the unit as a whole. And now you lost one of those pieces. So now you're going to expose it even more. And so you have so far you haven't replaced John Franklin Myers. You might have a little bit of a plan for it, but we don't know how that's going to work out. You got 0% better at linebacker because all you did is Sternad aside, you basically brought in Singleton, like you kept Singleton, got rid of Greenlaw. So even if you feel like they're even players, that's a wash. You didn't get any better there. Your running back group is the exact same as it was to start the season last year. And mind you that I thought the Singleton contract was bad. We got to talk about the J.K. Dobbins contract because that is a whole nother level of bad. I was at dinner and someone's like, oh, they came up with the terms of the contract is $8 million. I was like, oh yeah, 2 years, $8 million. That makes sense. $8 million a year is crazy to me. Like,
and they said Travis Etienne. They said Travis Etienne $13 million a year was crazy.
Yeah,
that's what they said through Gliss, man.
Yeah,
what's up with this? So,
yeah, like that puts. Let me see where that would put him because like that's a pretty insane number. And like I will be the first person to tell you guys that he is absolutely when he's healthy. The let me see contract average. Let's see when he is healthy, he is a top 5, top 7 running back. But that's when he's healthy, and he's never healthy. Every single year of his career, he's missed significant time. Every year, some unlucky, some maybe a trend, but you'll be fooling yourself if you're like, well, he's going to be healthy this year. Like, okay, if he's healthy this year, it's a good contract. But I mean, it just to me it's crazy. Like we were willing to trade a draft pick, in exchange for David Montgomery. And we missed out on that, and then we end up going with JK, and we give him even more money. It just doesn't. For me, and nothing really adds up, man. It's weird.
No, dude.
It's really strange to me.
I was telling Jeremy earlier, I was like, it feels like when Coach Prime last year was just telling everybody like we got the best like team he's had since he's come here. Like, we got expectation to be even better than we were last year after getting 9 wins. And then just everything falls flat on its face, dude. like it's different if they set the expectation that we are not going to be super active in free agency. But all the main reporters were talking about it. They get up there, they talk about aggressive in the mix, all the memes. And what's the worst part of this is that they're doing this on Kodiak's birthday, man. This is terrorism.
Yeah.
It's downright disrespectful to Kodiak.
Yeah, Kodiak, change your birthday, bro. Be born on a different day because George Payton doesn't give a shit. It's messed up.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Here's 2 years for Alex Singleton, 20 million probably for J.K. Dobbins. You probably won't get that, but and a bunch of nothing burgers in terms of adding new players to this roster. How are you doing, birthday boy?
Listen, all I'm saying is that I wish I was making content for the Broncos specifically on the 70-20 Miami day. I wish I was making content around that day. And honestly, I feel like we've been pretty lucky because this is the worst day in Broncos country since that day. All right. If I were to tell you that between a season last year where we were a wild card team and we went 10-7 and we're a first round exit, versus a team that just lost by 4 points, or that could have that only needed 4 more points to win the AFC Championship. And in one of those off seasons, we are going to re-sign all of our shitters and scrubs. And in one of those off seasons, we were going to add an All-Pro, another All-Pro safety, an All-Pro tight end, and a very high-level linebacker. Which off season do you think I'd be talking about? The one where we were in the AFC Championship, or the one where we were a first-round exit? And that's just all I can put it is that, I'm just so disappointed looking at this team's offseason now compared to last year's. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Mark, you made some great points. I heard you driving on the way over here. All I can say is, listen, I know I got this Singleton jersey, but that's because I didn't think he'd be back with the team, man. I thought he'd go elsewhere, and I could just be like, yes, I'm your biggest fan now. Yeah, man, I don't know.
You really love a player if you bought it off of DHgate or if you bought it from NFL Shop. So where'd you get that one from?
Well, I got all these from DHgate. And listen, I don't love Hufanga, Moss, Emmanuel Sanders, and Palcho any less. But yeah, no, it's very disappointing. Like, I know you guys said you guys don't want to doom and gloom, but there's just no world where you can be like, the Broncos got better today. They didn't get better. They actively shot themselves in the foot and hamstrung themselves with worse contracts for their worst players. Like, that's just what happened. And you lost JFM, which was a net negative.
Yep.
I mean, okay, let's just do a little exercise. Palcho, do we like that deal?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Troutman, do we like that deal?
No.
Hell
Absolutely
no.
not. Absolutely not.
Horrendously bad.
Singleton, do we like that deal?
Awful.
No.
Horrendous.
Hell no.
J.K. Dobbins, do we like that deal?
Nope, I don't.
No.
I hate the deal.
Hell no.
I thought I was fine with it until I saw the numbers and I was like, oh my God.
Maybe if he was making up to 8 million this year, but we're starting the base at 8 million, man.
Yeah.
It's a 1 year, probably $8 million deal.
You got Tyler Algier for 6.
I know, but they don't like Tyler Algier, clearly. They would rather trust
they
the
don't
guy
like
who
a
knows
lot
the
of good
offense.
players. Apparently.
Yeah, but okay. So here's my thing. Like, do you think that there's any chance that the Broncos could also sign maybe a Brian Robinson Jr.?
Okay, if they do that,
Good.
no, they ain't gonna do it.
Right.
Not anymore.
So Jeremy, I was asking, do you think that there's a chance that the Broncos could still go out there and maybe sign like a Brian Robinson Jr. to elevate that room and kind of complete it?
I think so. Like,
so like for me, I would be shocked. Like if it was a 2-year, $8 million contract, or if it was less, you're talking up to $8 million with incentives, then you're like, yeah, I could see that because they could still spend more money. But based off of what I've seen from Sean and how they want to like allocate the dollars and all that kind of stuff, I feel like now there's no way they'll sign.
I don't think they will.
Then they'll be doing $13-14 million in that room, and they don't necessarily want to do that. I'd still be fine with it.
I don't think they will, but I could see they could, but I don't think they will. I think they have I think they like enough running backs in the draft that they're like, okay, Dobbins is the veteran. Harvey should be better season 2. And then you bring in like a rookie in the first 3 rounds. That's what I think they probably are thinking. Now, if they don't do that, I won't understand it at all. But I think that's where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think for the running back position.
Yeah. And again, I think, like, dude, for me, when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, a lot of people were talking about Broncos are going to make a big swing at wide receiver. I genuinely never really thought that. I was like, that's a difficult room to clearly upgrade because you need a wide receiver one. Those guys just don't become available. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. That room is really going to be dictated on the development of Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin. And I'm fine with that because you always have to develop your guys. And that's fine. In that room, I'm good with it. Tight end was an abysmal room.
Oh my
especially
God,
after Evan Ingram. So I was like, okay, we can upgrade there in a lot of different ways. Like I was literally asking for Charlie Kolar and Tyler Algier. You know, I wasn't asking for ETN and Devin Lloyd and Alec Pierce. Like it was very, very simple to be able to upgrade it. And we just, again, for so many different off seasons, decided to just say, no, we're good. It just irks me, man. Like it drives me crazy because it was like, you just needed to have baseline, simple upgrades just to show, you know, and there's some people coming out like, well, the Broncos made 3 major free agent signings last offseason, and only one of them you can say worked out with Hufanga. Sure, that's fine. You're probably going to miss again, but dude, at least you're trying. Like that's the thing is like, show me that you care. Nobody was mad about the Russell Wilson trade when it didn't work out. At the time, everyone was like, dude, swing for the fences and go out and get it. Right. Especially how like we were in such a different time of our franchise then too. Now it's like, be calculated. You might miss here or there. That's fine. But you know, at least you're showing that you have some sort of a plan or a vision, and you're like, hey, I want to upgrade here. And if it works, not. If otherwise, you can live. I don't think anybody would be pissed off at George Payton if he tried genuinely to go out there and fix the running back and fix the tight end room and it didn't work out. They'd be like, man, he did what he had to do. It just didn't work out. It sucks. It is what it is. But like they stumbled into JK, realized, oh my gosh, we really like this guy. You know, he's a good locker room guy. And then now paid him, you know, a top 15 running back money. It's wild.
How would you feel if tomorrow we signed Caden Ellis and Cade Otton?
Cade Otton was signed already.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. The thing is like, I would actually be more pissed. I wouldn't be more pissed if we signed Caden Ellis, but it would bother me because it's like, dude, we could have just had Caden Ellis. Now we have to worry about having Caden Ellis and how much is he going to play? And is he going to not play for this guy? But like, I would love the Caden Ellis pick. So that'd be cool. Like, that would be awesome if he did that. But that's the thing too, is like, I'm not optimistic that there is going to be that move that can now move the needle because you've filled out the main guys. So it's like, even though it doesn't make sense, they could still do it. But because it doesn't make sense at all, I'm like, I don't see a reason why they would do that.
So Joey's telling us, thanks for tuning in, Joey, that, you know, we just need to watch tomorrow. And this is fun. He said, oh, we didn't get the guys the internet people told us we needed. Just watch tomorrow when we make a big move. And yeah, you all will be happy. Who is that guy? Let's talk about it. Let's theorize. If the Broncos are to make a big move, y'all let us know in the chat too. Who is that guy? Kodiak?
I mean,
and be realistic.
Yeah, who's left?
Let's be realistic, right?
Well, I mean, if we're going to be realistic, like, I just feel like they're not really going to want to go out and truly upgrade their room with a Brian Thomas Jr. because that would cost you substantial assets. And I think, you know, for all the we like our room memes and gimmicks, I think they actually genuinely do like the wide receiver room, and there's reasons to like it. You know, you still need to add one more, but I just don't think they're going to look at wide receiver and be like, no, that's the 911 priority. And also, I do just want to piggyback on one thing. You know, Mark, you had said that, you know, you weren't asking for like Devin Lloyd and Alec Pierce. Neither was I. I was just asking them to not re-sign their worst players in positions that needed to be upgraded and not give them raises and sign a few, you know, affordable upgrades at that position, which would not have been hard to do. And they didn't do that. So you're right. Like, what do we do? And then, you know, you talked about Brian Robinson. You know, I think it's more likely, while I would like that at this point, I think it's more likely Jaleel comes back because they seem to really value the familiarity. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think it's very, very likely.
It is. No, it is. At this point, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even letting it bother
Jaleel.
me anymore.
Yeah, no, Kroll and Jaleel, man. I'm kind of already penciling them in as Broncos this upcoming year. I don't know why the front office looks at what they've done and they're just like, we want to re-sign these guys actively. But shit, man. They're in the building and I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm curious what Drader87 says. Show me how you guys understand contracts, which I can clarify if you need. You haven't yet, and these are still unofficial. I don't know what the point of it is, but even if you wanted to compare, like, any of the free agents that we wanted signed that got signed for the deals that they got signed to are not hamstringing you for the next 4 or 5 years if they don't work out anyways. Like, all of them are basically maximum 2-year commitments for the guys that we were looking at. Tyler Algier was a 1-year commitment. Kate Otten, okay, 3 years, 30 million, 2 million of that is guaranteed. Like, it's not like you're dying. And the cap number is going to go up 10, 12, $15 million next year. So just roll it into that, and it's basically a wash. So there wasn't any contracts where I was like, man, I really wanted, the Broncos to get Alec Pierce at $120 million. I don't think anybody wanted that. I would have been like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, it'd have been exciting, but I'd have been like, oh, it's a little steep. But it's like, these are simple contracts that you can get out of if it doesn't work out. I mean, look at the Greenlaw deal is perfect proof of that. Like, you just moved on from them, no problem, saved cap space. You could have done the same thing with Evan Ingram if you wanted to. So it's funny money, man. This whole, like, we don't have the money is a bullshit excuse. It just is.
This is a crazy stat here, courtesy of Jason Bishop NFL on Twitter. If you're not following him on Twitter, you should. The Broncos are paying more for Singleton and Sternad, including dead cap from Greenlaw, than they would have for just signing Devin Lloyd outright. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's terrible. It's just roster mismanagement. And yeah, like you said, you don't want to be like doom and gloom, but like you said, like, when we've been far into the playoffs, at least the next offseasons, historically, we've done something as a franchise, okay? This upcoming offseason, after making it to the AFC Championship, we have done nothing except get net worse. You lost Franklin Myers, who is combined 10 times more talented than all the guys you signed today. Well, maybe it's unfair to group Dobbins in there, but yeah, no, like Singleton, like Troutman, like, you actively rewarded the worst players on your team with bad contracts. And we're going to sit here in September and October, and it's going to look like the 2025 season all over again. It's hard for me to, think that our defense is going to look any different besides worse without JFM. So then we're going to be, sitting here on Horsepower Hour, and we're going to be like, man, the run game sucks. The tight end room is bad. The linebackers can't cover. And we're going to be like, dang, we were talking about this back in March. Why didn't they do anything about it?
I got some other names here. We can talk about it. Matt, I wish you could be GM tonight, but all right. Justin Jefferson. Jettas. All right. Jettas. That's not Jahmyr Gibbs.
If the Broncos made a trade for Justin Jefferson tomorrow, that would be the ultimate, like, and totally redeem yourself move.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen, but that would be the ultimate, like, I would look back and be like, dude, remember those 24 hours where I was miserable and I was like an absolute nut job on Twitter? That was funny because now I'm gone. But like, instead, what we're going to end up doing is retweeting tweets like this that say the Jaguars are releasing veteran tight end Johnny Munt, per source, a top blocking tight end, and now on the market, and us having to discuss, well, if he's a top blocking tight end, and we already have a top blocking tight end according to our front office on the team, can we have 2 top blocking tight ends? I don't think it would make sense. Those are the kinds of discussions that we're now having instead of going for the big wigs.
But we have 1 blocking tight end and 1 fake blocking tight end on the team.
And like the Broncos can't afford JJ. Guys, I'm telling you all, because I love you. We can afford anybody that we really wanted to afford. It is not real money. You can move things around.
Look at what the Chiefs did.
It doesn't mean be stupid and sign whoever you want. But if the Saints, who yes, 2 days ago we're like negative $30 million in the cap, can go out and get ETN and one of the top corners and spend all this money. Guys, stop kidding ourselves. Of course we can't afford it. It is a media spin that you're either like that they're just trying to sell to you. And if you don't want to spend the money, that's fine. But that's a different conversation. Don't want to spend the money versus can't afford it are very different, right? Like growing up, I always thought when my dad was like, oh no, anytime he's like, no, I don't want to get that. It's too expensive. I thought it was because we couldn't afford it. And then I realized when I was an adult, no, he just didn't want to buy it. Like, we can afford it, dude. Very much so. But again, so I'll give you guys a realistic name. How about this one?
Okay. Yeah.
Because it was someone that has been tied to Broncos country. Broncos go and get Romeo Doubs. All right.
Sell us on Romeo Doubs fit with this offense with the other weapons we got. Just help me see the vision. Okay.
Well, it's exactly my point. Like, I don't think it would be a fine signing. But my point is that like that's why when I looked at the wide receiver room, because I only picked the wide receiver because that's the only position of need that we actually haven't made a move at yet. Right. Because I feel like the move with Dobbins kind of takes us out of most of the veteran running backs. And then the moves with Singleton and Sternati essentially removes us from that. So it's like, okay, what's the other one that people were talking about? Receiver. I think this receiver room is fine the way it's currently constructed. I think that, again, it's all about the development of Franklin and Pat Bryant. But if you got Romeo Doubs, you have a very deep room. You've got somebody that is extremely versatile that can play all over the field. He can get open. He's another really reliable weapon for Bo. So I feel like you would at least help Bo Nix a lot. But I mean, man, we gotta like, that's another thing that bothers me is like, we need to take some things off of Bo's plate. The guy's carried us for the first 2 years he's been in the league, man. Yes, he's had a really great defense, which is helpful. So cool. But that defense got worse today. And, he's had a phenomenal offensive line, which is great. I'm all for keeping the continuity that we have. Running game's dog shit. We did nothing to help it. Pass game, dog shit. We've done nothing to help it, at least at tight end where there was opportunities to. But yeah, I mean, how do I sell you on Romeo Doubs?
Yeah.
I guess my sales pitch would be, we signed somebody new. We signed somebody new, and Lil Jordan Humphrey now is probably not going to be on the roster until someone gets hurt in October.
Honestly, I think I would do that if it means Lil Jordan Humphrey isn't back. Now, I am looking at Justin Jefferson's contract right now. Guess what his cap hit is this year if we require him?
Who? Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson. Just guess.
27?
No.
17 million.
No, it's under $2 million if we acquire him this year.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can work it out in future years, man. Yeah, very low number to acquire this year. Probably won't be the same in future years, but man. Oh, looks like we got a super chat here.
Whoa.
T Fishes, what up, man?
Yeah, spending big money right here.
Unlike the Broncos.
More like the Broncos, yeah.
Yeah. He's saying, hey, thanks for the $5. He says, Doubs is used to a committee role already. He can play every position, can block, low drop rate, and is 10 times better than Lil Jordan Humphrey. Oh, he's cheaper. Okay.
Not cheaper than Lil Jordan Humphrey, but I agree with everything else you said.
Oh, yeah, not cheaper than Lil Jordan Humphrey, right?
No way.
No,
but
here's kind of another side to that, right? So if I mean, do we all agree that like the best chances of our wide receiver room getting better is just by the development of the guys that we have? I think we've all, and I feel like a lot of Broncos country believes that, which is a fair assessment in that room particularly.
Yeah.
The downfall about bringing Doubs is, yes, this year the room is probably better because you're bringing a talented player, but you're also hindering the growth of a lot of these guys too, because now they're not going to be playing as much. What's their role going to look like? So you're kind of playing that back and forth in your head a little bit, but I would just add that. But I mean, dude, I'd be all for Romeo Doubs. I like the idea of it. Probably has Juwan James signed anywhere? Or Juwan Jennings, sorry.
I was
don't think so.
No,
yeah, don't bring back Juwan James.
We were talking about Juwan James so damn much yesterday. Juwan Jennings would be someone I'd be freaking down for too, bro. Because he can at least be like a hybrid tight end with his blocking ability that he's got and the different things they could do with him. So
I'm going to share this. This is just Justin Jefferson's contract. If acquired, his cap hits 2026 is $1.75 million, 2027 is $30 million, and 2028 is $34 million. But you might have to trade like 2 first-round picks, Jonathan Cooper, one of our receivers, again, whatever, and an offensive lineman, because his dead money hit is $70 million if the Vikings trade him. So he's probably not realistically available.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's not. But like there's Jalen Waddle.
What's Jalen Waddle? Let me take a look.
No, I think I've seen it, but like there's like Jaden Waddle is an idea. But again, like even with that move, I wasn't surprisingly as excited about the potential of it happening last year. I would have been for it, but that doesn't really like make me that happy either, to be honest, because I don't know like if that's the style of receiver that we really need. But Marcus from
his cap this year would be 1.8 if acquired, then 24, and then 27 million. Dead money for Miami is only 11 million.
Mm-hmm. So it's more feasible.
Yeah.
I have a tough time thinking that they would do that now at this point. They got Malik Willis too. They got to take on a lot of dead cap. So,
man, but one can dream. Let me take a look at Brian Thomas. Well, I guess he's on a rookie deal. So yeah, you could trade for him easily. Yeah. What do you guys think it would take to acquire him?
I think it would probably take this year's first and maybe a second next year.
It's too much, I think.
Yeah. Or you might be able to give like a first and a third this year.
I think a first is pushing it, honestly, at this point.
Yeah. And I'm just saying that because, I mean, I would do it in a heartbeat personally, but I'm just saying that because he was a first round pick. So they're going to want to at least get that. But yeah, I mean, I'm like perplexed with Brian Thomas. I think him not playing that well this year was a lot of things. I think that the new system fit wasn't there. I think he was dealing with some sort of an injury, but you can't just ignore what the hell that guy did in his rookie season.
No.
I mean, he was dominant as a rookie. He had a better, like his stats and him going over 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards in his rookie season was the most of any Broncos wide receiver in a season since Demaryius Thomas. And that was in his rookie season.
Wow.
So the guy's a special talent, man. But again, you don't know. Maybe there's locker room stuff. I mean, why are they getting rid of him? Right? Maybe it's as simple as it's not a fit to the offense. If that's the case, cool, go get him. But I mean, those are questions that you have to ask. But dude, like, yeah, Brian Thomas raises the hell out of the floor of the ceiling, in my opinion, based off of what I know and have seen.
Yeah. Do y'all think there's any chance still that we could, figure out a trade for Breece Hall? People brought it up in the chat.
I think that no, not anymore.
No, I don't
think so.
No, because you got to pay him.
Contract. Yeah, with the Dobbins contract, I think it's more likely you draft somebody than you Then you go out there and get 2 expensive running backs. And by expensive, I mean like market value contract running backs. And like with Dobbins, I'm curious, were you competing against anybody? That's the thing. Like, were you competing? David, you brought up that point yesterday with Calvin Booth and how he literally just hopped on the phone with, whoever, Phoenix. And it was just and you were just like, he just offered a random second round pick, 2 minutes later, even though they didn't hear from anybody. So, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked, but that's
well, you got to repay him. I mean, you got to pay him more than what ETN got.
Yeah,
ETN money. So now you're talking $20 million, $21 million a year for your running backs, plus giving away a pick. Which, listen, dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'd still be good with it. I'd be like, at least we were spending a lot, but shit, at least we did something like really, really, really good. And for me, it would be like, all right, it's 1 year of JK. Because if JK Dobbins ends up being healthy the entire season and you got Breece Hall and you're running that 1-2 combo, that's ridiculous. But I just don't see it being realistic at all.
What if their plan was like, yeah, we just want to make sure JK's here. We're going to give him incentives, and then we'll bring in Breece Hall to make sure he never reaches any of them. We have our $8 million insurance back that we know will give us 10 games.
Yeah.
That's the only way my mad scientist mind can make sense of it.
And it would make sense if if it was an incentive-based contract, but he's got at least the first year guaranteed.
Dude, he's gonna get that whole thing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, if you're going to take that route with Breece Hall, at least you get a substantial upgrade in this running back room. Okay. At least when J.K. Dobbins goes down, you're just like, okay, we have Breece Hall. And you're not like, it's not like this past year where you're just like, all right, we'll see what RJ Harvey's got. You have one of the NFL's premier proven playmakers at the running back position. So you know what? I kind of like it. I kind of like the thought process because with Breece, with Dobbins, if you still can't run the ball, that with those guys and, having Harvey as the change of pace guy who can catch out of the backfield, if you can't run the ball with that room, you're just never going to be able to do it with this regime. That's just the reality of the situation. But yeah, I don't know. You're kind of onto something. Maybe we need to spike up the Breece Hall agenda once again.
Dude, I know. It's like the only thing left to do. There was one more person that I think Luke brought up, or there's two. Jawan Jennings. Who would you rather have between him or Romeo Dubs?
Him. I'd rather have Jawan Jennings.
Yeah.
At this point.
Probably. Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a clear fit. It's a clear, we know what Sean wants in his defense, reliability. And Romeo Dobbs with the concussion is a little scary. He's wearing that big ass helmet, So okay, maybe I shouldn't tell you to highlight that comment. I don't know. I'll pass on it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me know if there's another one you want. Chiefs re-signed Tyquan Thornton. Amazing. It's finally they made a dumb move. They went out and got Kenneth Walker, no problem.
Yeah.
With no cap space.
They paid for it.
Yeah.
They did. How much was that contract? Etienne's was more, though,
14,
right?
I think.
Yeah. I think Etienne's was still ended up being more, which is not surprising because I think he's a better player. But yeah, I mean, for them, it's like they're kind of kicking it. I feel like they're kind of almost ignoring this year in a way because of the Mahomes injury, whenever he gets back. But
I think they're just we have to have somebody that can just take a lot of load off of Mahomes.
Yeah.
Coming back off of a knee injury.
Yeah. It'd be really nice if we did that for our quarterback that broke his ankle. That'd be cool. But
yeah. I mean, Ken Walker isn't good, man. Dude, Austin Eckler, man, we're getting into the scrap heaps now.
Yeah, to say Kenny Walker isn't good. Listen, I think Etienne was better, and I feel like he got a little bit of a Super Bowl MVP tax, but isn't good. Come on
now.
He's pretty damn good, bro. I'll tell you that. At least at running the football.
He might not be complete, but he is very good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Again, running back, I can deal with $8 million for Dobbins if we draft Price, Coleman, or Washington. I'm 100% psyched about that room, honestly. I'm not bummed out about that room at all. So I don't want people to get that. Again, I honestly do feel like this draft could set us up for long-term success. I think that they just wanted people they could trust. And that was, I know we always want the shiny object, but I just don't think that's where Sean and we got a new play caller. So we'll see.
Nah, man, we need some character concerns on this team, man.
On the defense, not on the offense.
Alvin Kamara got suspended from Tennessee, all this sorts of stuff. It didn't play a lot, right? Man, we need to start taking some shots. So that's what I'm going to say. Our player we're going to bring in, that's going to be our MVP, like J.K. Dobbins was this past year. You guys get ready for it. I'm just the messenger. It's Stephon Diggs.
No.
He's coming here. Get ready. I am John the Baptist
probably is,
right
man.
now.
We loved him. We loved him last year.
Here's the thing. Why do we want people? Why do we want players where they always go to a new team and then that team doesn't want them after 1 year? That's a bad sign, man.
We just need them for 1 year.
I think we're good.
I think it would be an absolutely terrible move.
Yeah, I don't.
It's been a terrible offseason, and I am all the way out on Stephon Diggs for sure.
Dude, are you serious? Okay, if everything checks out, man.
It already hasn't checked out.
No, dude.
No, he got cut by the Patriots, who made it to the Super Bowl, and they don't have anybody catching the football. Like, they literally have no receivers.
No, they got no. Yeah, you're right. They didn't pay out.
They're like, yeah, we're good. We're gonna roll with Kayshawn Booty over him. Like, that in and of itself is a really big red flag to me.
Don't.
And does he have a pending murder charge or something, or not murder charge?
Strangulation.
Strangulation. Sorry.
I know.
He's got a chokehold on David. I know that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it's not good. It's not good. But that's where we're at. Stephon Diggs is the only man that can save this offense now. So
that's how far we've fallen. That's how far we've fallen towards.
Yeah.
We're talking about
we don't got the stones to go trade Cortland Sutton in change for AJ Brown. We don't got the stones to do that. We're trying to win a Super Bowl through the power of friendship. It's the corniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But that's like what we're trying to do right now.
But okay, so I'll give you guys an example, like what Monarchist 02 said, right? And maybe he's joking, maybe he's serious. And just to show you guys that we're actually not just out of our minds and in this fantasy football reality world that we live in, okay? If the Broncos made this move, it would be terrible. Like, giving up Sutton and Franklin and a first-round pick and a third-round pick for Garrett Wilson, and you sign Dobbs, that's a dog shit move. That doesn't really do anything. You're just killing your resources. So I wanted to say that, which is crazy that I have to, just to show you guys that, like, there's sanity there, and we weren't asking for too much. We just didn't want shitty players back on expensive contracts. And that's what we got. You know, and if it's another team's shitty player, right, there's always that mantra of like, well, maybe in this system and in this environment, they're a lot better. We've seen that. We've done a really good job of getting guys like Brandon Jones wasn't a good safety. He comes here, he ends up being a stud. So there's examples of that. But we know they suck in the system because we watched them for 3 years. And all they're doing is getting older and more expensive. And we've decided to keep rolling with them. It's crazy.
Here's what I will say, to give a little bit of sunlight to this. The reason why today sucked is because they had good days during the season by extending guys that we already loved and that deserved contracts. Mm-hmm. If we would have been one of those teams that kind of waited and let people test free agency and then sign them back, and then we're like, oh, good, we got Nick Manito back. Oh, good, we got PS2. Oh, good. That was already done. So that cut into that. But like that is a today type of, you have to remember that on days like today, because it's just like anybody who's been in a relationship, it doesn't matter how much good stuff you did yesterday. You have to like, what did you do for me today? Right. Yeah. So that's how we feel. But like we have a really good team, and I know we wanted certain guys. We had our eyes on certain guys, but like we did make really good moves to retain and bring up good players who we've drafted. And so we can't forget about that.
But here's my counter to that, right? Like, I would feel so much better about today if we did nothing. Like, if we did absolutely nothing, if we didn't re-sign Troutman yesterday, right? Let's say we brought back Sternad. You know what? Even if yesterday happened and today we did nothing, we didn't sign J.K. Dobbins and we didn't bring back Alex Singleton, at least then I'd be like, okay, here are the guys that are available. This is a realistic option. This is a realistic option. The problem is we brought those guys back, and now nothing is really a realistic option, aside from guys that were like Sky Moore that are being brought up in the chat right now. If we didn't sign anybody, at least they'd be like, all right, we opened up the cap space. Things are happening. Like, I went live earlier, and dude, I don't know if you saw it, David. I had like the worst live session of my life because I went on live. I was on there. I was in a good mentality. I was trying to be positive. I was like, listen, we're freeing up cap space. There's still a lot of guys that we can get. And during that live, that 45 minutes.
Sorry, I broke the news. I'm sorry.
In that 45 minutes, Alex Singleton gets signed and Dre Greenlaw gets cut. And I was like, oh, now it's over. And it's not just strictly the players that we brought back. It's just because of what it means that we're not going to do. That's kind of the thing for me. And it's like, yeah, I love the fact that we got ahead and we signed a lot of these players. But man, we haven't. We certainly have not improved, and I don't think anybody can agree that we've gotten better today. Doesn't mean that can't change. but we have not improved as a football team today.
Out of the 5 moves that were made, I like 3 of them. I dislike 2 of them. So, I mean, it's not the sky's not falling. I like Strnad. I like Palczewski, and I like the Dobbins one in the situation. I obviously don't like Singleton and Troutman. I would have preferred Bellinger and a different guy on defense, but like, I don't know what it is about Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph has it bad for Singleton. He trusts Singleton. He can trust, like, he's going to relay it, all that kind of stuff. Dre Greenlaw, we tried something, it didn't work out, but that's what that is. I don't have a problem with it if they feel they know more about it than us, but
yeah,
those are the 2 that, like you said, if they wouldn't have done those 2, I'd feel better.
I just think that the Greenlaw release, like, okay, to free up that $6 million, you better use that for something legitimate. Because for me, it's like, okay, at least you can sit there and say, hey man, like, if Dre Greenlaw can be healthy this year and he can have a really good year, you can see a bump there. Cool. Like, I can deal with Singleton and Greenlaw if Greenlaw's playing better and Singleton at least plays how he did last year. Okay, you can kind of work with that. But then you just get rid of them and you're like, okay, we're literally back to square one. Literally. Like, that's what's insane. That's what's crazy to me. Our big prize free agent, the big guy we went for last year was Greenlaw, okay? Because we had the understanding that we knew we had a hole at linebacker. So you signed a guy, fine. You got rid of that guy is nothing. But now all of a sudden it's to think, oh, after 1 year, everyone got older. Like, now we don't have a problem there anymore. Like, that, how did that problem disappear from last year to this offseason?
No, it didn't disappear. But like, I don't think Greenlaw was gonna be the fix. So they moved on. Like, they folded that hand. That was. That's just
fine.
what that was.
I mean, that's fine, but I mean, if he's not the fix, but Singleton is, then that's a problem.
I think Singleton's like the backup, the back burner. Like, we better have somebody that can call the defense, that knows what they're doing. That, I think that's what that is.
No, he's the highest paid linebacker on our team.
Well, yeah, on our team. We don't have good linebackers on our team. Like, that's not saying that much.
But they think they do.
Yeah, they reinvested into the worst part of the team. And Mark said, if Singleton were to just move on, fantastic. You start from square one, whatever. That's perfectly fine. But you are actively reinvesting into the worst parts of your team. And he kept us from being the league's best defense because the Texans have better linebackers than you. And honestly, I feel like that was the only real difference from this past year.
I just don't see him ever leaving the field this year.
But if you draft a linebacker early and you have somebody like him who will bring him along and teach him, like, that's probably, like, hopefully that's what they're going for. But like, I understand in the moment, it's like, oh, that's not what I want right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to get me to tonight where I'm eating steak. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but like, nobody's excited about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich to get you there. You know what I mean? That's where it's at.
Yeah.
But you also have a massive hole now at defensive end.
Dude, big time.
Yeah. You do, and you're relying on 33 snap Savion Jones to bail you out of that. And like, I know that, listen, I'm not opposed to it being a redshirt year for Savion Jones, but he cannot be the plan. Okay. Yep. Or the reason I think he can't be the plan is because he was a game day inactive on, 17% of your regular season games, or no, 14 out of your 17. That's what I was trying to say. So like, I just don't think it's plug and play. It's proven in 2023, we had Jonathan Harris next to Zach Allen. Zach Allen sucked that year. I was like, man, Zach Allen is a really big disappointment in the first year of his rookie contract because the guy next to him, Jonathan Harris, he was making up for a lot of his deficiencies. And I don't want to go that same route with Savion.
Mm-hmm.
But Vance Joseph won't play rookies at like hardly ever. So I can't go off of that. He didn't play Jones. He didn't play Barron. Like, this next season will tell us a lot on those guys. But when you did see them, they flashed immediately. All those guys did. So maybe they like the team coming up behind better than we know. We don't get to see the practices. We don't get to see that. Yeah. So I don't know. That could be that, but I just don't
still think we'll probably sign Cam Jordan too. That just makes a lot of sense.
I would honestly be down for that, man.
It's a good bridge.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Like,
Jordan does salvage part of this free.
It does. And the thing is like, I mean, I agree with you, Jeremy, in the sense of like, with Savion Jones, you are going to kind of have to do a lot of experimenting. We kind of knew that. Like, that's the reason we drafted him last year and tried to develop him. Like, those things are inevitably going to have to happen. And I was hoping that the whole idea is, okay, you lose that to use the resources to be able to fill somewhere else. And just the fact that we haven't done that is frustrating. But I mean, we'll see. Cam Jordan would be helpful though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to give a shout out really quick because we didn't shout him out, but $2 super chat. Spoonster.
Spoonster.
Yeah, he wants a first and second for Justin Jefferson. Then you draft a linebacker. Sign me up. If you can convince the Vikings to do that, then yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they want to do it. Their new GM is not going to start off like that.
Yeah, no. Trade Jefferson, take on a $70 million cap hit.
We should have tried to take advantage of the old GM when we felt like he's probably going to get fired. Man. We're like, you know what? Let's just have him go out with a bang.
Let's be real, man. Our GM would be fleeced on whatever trade would happen, man. We're going to get fleeced. We're going to get fleeced on the contract. You know, that's just what it is, man. I can't believe Charlie Kohler signed for only $8 million a year, man, with freaking LA, dude. LA doing they're drafting all the guys we want. They're always signing the guys we want.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Maybe we should just we're not going to be Chargers fans. Come on now. We're Bo Nix fans. Come on, we're Broncos fans.
No, we are. I mean,
but I think Ayoma, Wazarike, and Malcolm Roach, those guys are the plan.
We like those deals.
Yeah, I like those deals. And I thought Malcolm Roach played probably the best year of his career this past year.
Yep. He's a dog. No, listen, man. Okay, I said it a lot. Like George Payton, from getting guys at a good value, he's knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Right.
Until now.
Doesn't mean. But now, like, the thing is we were just wanting that one time where, okay, dude, you've done a great job with the value. We just need that really high upside one. You might not hit on it, but we need that one high upside signing. I've never been worried that the Broncos are going to get good value. Like, that's been their MO, and it's been what's gotten us to this point. Like, kudos there. That's great. That's not always going to work, though. Like, it's really good for teams trying to build something special, but it doesn't usually work for teams that are like, we're just going to keep running it back and hope. But
yeah, he's a value shopper for sure.
Yeah.
He is that. Like, and you're never going to get a value deal on day one of free agency. This just doesn't exist. That's not going to happen. So, like, to be optimistic, to try to be optimistic, I'm also forcing myself to be optimistic. We've read one chapter of the book of this offseason, and we don't know how the story is going to go. And you never, like, again, I just have seen so many times when teams and fan bases get so excited because they signed the guy that they really wanted, and then it didn't change anything or didn't move the needle or whatever. I just got to have patience. Nobody thought we would even be in the AFC Championship this year. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys suck now because you didn't do what I wanted you to do today. Like, they've done a lot of good things. So it's not over. Again, talk to me after the draft, because that's really going to be the make or break how I feel. But
yeah, I mean, you do make some good points there, but one of the killer things about lack of aggression is Sean Payton, whenever somebody would ask him, all right, you finally get rid of the rust dead cap hit this upcoming year, how will you react to it? He was just like, well, if I were to tell you that you could redecorate your house with a $50,000 grant or a $200,000 grant, then the one with the $200,000 grant would look nicer. But the problem is, I feel like he bought $50,000 worth of product with that $200,000 grant. That's the big problem there.
So far.
Yes, so far. But even then, like, who's still out there? And, I'm curious to see the dynamics, like who's really behind this offseason, because it looks drastically different from last offseason. Okay. I'll live with a Greenlaw miss or an Ingram miss if it means that you can get a Hufanga. Okay. I'll live with that. But what I can't respect is not even trying. I can't respect not even trying.
But again, like I said, who says they didn't try? That just because you didn't come home with the girl didn't mean you didn't go up and talk to her for 45 minutes. Like,
I think they didn't try.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. You got so many things going in your favor, man. Like, you can offer signing bonuses more than all these other. We got the richest owners in football. I think they're making half-assed efforts to try and nickel and dime guys to come here, and that just doesn't work in the NFL.
I don't think that's what they. I think they did try, and then they got to a point that they're like, "This is the point where it's a bridge too far. We're not going there."
Like, Yeah, but they overvalue their own guys. They overvalue their own guys. They put out through Kliss that ETN's contract was crazy at $13 million.
Well, that's
only
a PR.
for them to
that's
give
a PR
JK what they gave him, man. I think that's insane.
No, well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Sean Payton specifically is Sean Payton is not a get me the most talented team. Sean Payton is like, I need a specific type of guy on this team that will work with the way that I coach. And it doesn't mean you can just, this guy's so talented, just give me him. And he's very, very, very specific about the type of guy that he wants. So if he has targeted certain guys and then they got outpriced for it, or they thought it's not worth it, that's where it is. But they're not going to just go, oh, that guy's talented, so we'll spend a bunch on him. He's just not going to do that. That's just not who he is. Mm-hmm. I think it's smart overall, but it's on days like this, it's frustrating because we're like, damn, why didn't we get that guy? I got to trust Sean Payton because he does like the Pat Bryants of the drafts and those certain types of guys that he'll bring in. Now it's frustrating that you love Singleton and Troutman because you're like, those guys aren't talented enough. But like, I'm just telling you, Sean Payton is that dude where he's just like, I need this type of guy. You know, I don't care how hot the girl is, but she's got to be like somebody I can talk to.
Yeah, but like, how are you going to know if these guys are like these types of guys unless you like bring them in? I mean, no, you could do some research, you could talk to some other guys, but he even said like we were so surprised by the type of person that J.K. Dobbins was. Like he figured out about J.K. Dobbins because they ultimately signed him, you know. But I mean, we know that particular like. But here's the reason I kind of think I wouldn't say that they didn't try. I think that would be like really naive, but. It definitely comes off like they didn't really try that hard because they had 2 or 3 targets and at different positions, let's say. And then if they didn't get them, they're like, all right, plan B is to re-sign our guys rather than be like, let's go through all the rest of the different options and see, okay, if we know that we wanted to replace Singleton an inside linebacker, we can go for Devin Lloyd. If he ends up being too expensive or he chooses to go somewhere else, we can have other guys listed. Like, to be able to say we only think of all the available free agents that one guy is better than the guys that we have, it just doesn't seem realistic. I mean, it could have been the case, but it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. It's like, I don't think that somebody was going to sign Alex Singleton today if we waited a couple days to feel out the market more.
Yeah. And the only thing I can really give them props for is unlike Troutman, they actually let Singleton hit the open market. Now, is the contract still disappointing and probably something that no other team would have given him? Probably. But, you know, at least I respect the fact. I mean, if there's anything I could take solace in the fact that, you know, Singleton probably had other teams vying for his services. You know, I know Troutman had a lot of suitors for him that were really in strong on him, right? But, yeah, no. The fact that they they re-signed Troutman, that's why I think the tight end effort, I wouldn't say they didn't try. Like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I feel like it was very lackluster if they signed Troutman the day before the free agency tampering period opened.
It's
a pathetic effort.
Dude, it's lazy. In my opinion, it's lazy. You're giving these guys, you're giving mid players big contracts that we know they're kind of overpriced, man. It's just a lazy way to approach it. Man, this hurts me to say. I'm a Sean Payton guy. Even though he blocked me, again, for hating on him for benching A.T. Perry. I love Sean Payton. But this is a tough moment, man. Because this approach for him and George Payton to come on here and up at the combine and say, we understand this moment, and then have this approach with it, I think it's scared. I think it's lazy. And I mean, look at the Chiefs. Jordan said this. They've only won 3 Super Bowls in the past, like, 6 years or whatever it is. They're fine spending $14 million on a running back. But yeah, of course, we know better. We know better.
I mean, guys, do we not forget the offseason that Elway had when he got embarrassed in the Super Bowl? All he did was get Emmanuel Sanders and Aqib Talib and TJ Ward, you know, and
but you can't compare the years like
DeMarcus Ware. Like, but you can though, in a way. Right? Because
we were embarrassed against the freaking Patriots.
Because for me, it's like if the question is, okay, do you feel like you have a franchise quarterback? Yes. Do you feel like we're close to winning a Super Bowl? Yes. Do you feel like we're in a Super Bowl window? Yes. Then go out there and get it because, you know, yes, Peyton Manning was about to retire, but I mean, Bo Nix is about to get the bag too, man. Like he's going to make a lot of money and it's going to have to change a lot of what it is that you do. And so why not go for it if you feel like it's the best opportunity to do it? Like I feel like go out there trying to swing and win one. But
yeah, I just wanted to share this because I wanted to bring up this point. I saw it on Twitter earlier today. I literally asked you guys like last night if George Payton was the GM during this Super Bowl 48 run that we had, would we have just run it back with DRC? What kind of contract would Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie have gotten? Instead, he was like, no, he wasn't good enough. We went out there and we got to keep Talib. And yeah, like I just want to make this point because ultimately I know that you can't go balls to the wall every offseason. George Payton, he said it himself that you got to choose when to be aggressive. And he said that this offseason they were going to be, super aggressive and whatever. But, I do just have to bring this up because, Zach Seegers, he says here, if Elway's big moves were DRC, no Sean Moreno and Sean Phillips, and you didn't let them leave the building and you re-signed them the day before the tampering period opened, Super Bowl 50 probably doesn't happen because John always saw what happened against Seattle and he didn't stay complacent. That's the problem.
This is a false narrative though, because we were trying to sign DRC 100%. We're waiting for DRC to sign. He was dragging his feet. And then once news came from the Patriots that they hadn't signed Talib yet because of something, that's when we made a phone call and asked, would you take the same exact deal we had on the table for DRC? And Talib said yes. And that's the only reason Talib happened. And then with Phillips, he was coming off like an injury. That was different. DeMarcus Ware was just the right time he was leaving the Cowboys. You're never going to get that. That's like a once in a generation type of like move for that. And then the reason we got Emmanuel Sanders, he was in another person's building. He was not a priority for us. And then we last second called him and we're like, hey, you want to come and play with Payton? Yes, I do. I'll leave Kansas City right now and come. It was fortuitous and it was like a magical thing. But to have like this interesting where it's like, it was this calculated like off season where they knew that was not how it went. And so like, that's fake news.
To me, it just sounds like they tried.
Yeah, tried their ass off.
Elway was able to like shift. Like he didn't rest on it. Like he was like, oh, this isn't going to work. Okay, what's my next plan?
Yeah.
But again, tell me what guys available in today's free agency are as good as Aqib Talib, DeMarcus Ware, and Emmanuel Sanders.
But I can give you a list of like 15 tight ends I'd rather have over Adam Troutman. And we signed him before free agency hit.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. We're not even asking for DeMarcus Ware, Emmanuel Sanders, and we know that like that shit was crazy. I'll never forget it, man. I kept getting these notifications on my phone, and I was like, "Am I dreaming?" And I got the exact same feeling today, but my dream was like a nightmare. But again, we're not even asking for all these players. We're asking for simple upgrades at two of our biggest needs.
The Troutman one is the one that bugs me the most because it's just like, and then his statement after the fact was just like,
oh dude, so self-conscious.
You have a lot of nerve.
Dude, he's a villain now. He's a straight up villain.
Dude, if the first thing that I ever did after signing, a multi-million-dollar contract, this is the most money he's ever made in his career too. But if I was out there, made a shitload of money, the first thing that I said is, I don't care what PFF says. That would tell people that all I've been thinking about is PFF's ratings. And then if I have to reassure you that I'm a really good blocker, maybe you're a little bit like, it's the self-consciousness that came out in that was like, oh, I hate it. But that's kind of how he's.
We never hear Alex Singleton and Adam Troutman talk about how they're never good enough and how they got to be better. We just never hear them actually take accountability for themselves.
Yeah. But we haven't heard it yet, but I don't think we're going to hear Alex Singleton come out and being like, I'm one of the best cover linebackers, regardless of what Bronco, I don't think he's going to say anything. He's going to say, I'm happy to be a Bronco. That's normal. What Troutman did kind of took it to another level. Dude, you don't have to reassure us. Because you said it, we don't all of a sudden believe it now. We just literally will put the all 22 film and I'll show you.
That was my comment in the Discord. I go, Adam's unaware that everybody else owns televisions and or have gone to games.
Exactly. It's not like, what have you been doing behind closed doors and you take his word for it? Bro, we see it.
No,
I don't understand how.
We see it.
Yeah, but great locker room guy apparently. Spoomster with another $2 super chat. And guys, I got to start wrapping up here soon. But Spoomster, thank you. Says Bo Nix needs a number one wide receiver. couldn't have said it any better, any more concise. And it's going to be hard to address in free agency.
Any year, not just this year. It's like impossible.
Is there a chance we can find somebody in the draft?
Sure. Probably. Sure. But I mean, those guys happen, but people are always just like Puka Nacua, Tank Dell. I'm just like, dude, those guys are very few and far between. Okay. Wide receiver has one of the worst hit rates outside of the first round. Okay. So yes, could we find a wide receiver one going the Puka route and drafting a 5th round guy? Sure. Is it likely? Absolutely not. So yes, we could still find one in the draft, but easier said than done.
Well, but there was no wide receiver ones that you could have signed today that would have been like, oh, there. No. So that's.
But I think that what we did, like the lack of moves that we made, decreases the chances even further that we find that in the draft. Because again, if you filled your needs, if you felt like you went into the draft like genuinely good, like, all right, we're good at linebacker, we're good enough, we felt like we upgraded, we can just take whoever we feel like is the best player, then you'll have a higher chance of swinging on a wide receiver and hitting. But we go into the draft with this current tight end room or this current inside linebacker room, everyone's going to be clamoring to try to get young guys to develop in that pipeline. I still think that we should draft a lineman, a tackle or a guard to be able to build out and develop over the next couple of years. And so that's why these days like today had a lot of repercussions, even in the draft too. But
yeah, maybe use a first and Mims and Brian Thomas Jr. Trade everything.
Yeah.
We did get 2 more draft picks, Mr. Irrelevant and Mr. Basically Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Were those in addition to the other 2 7ths that we had?
I was curious about that because we have 3 7s right now, right?
I'm not sure.
But they made it seem like that they announced new ones today. So I think we have.
Yeah.
So we got like 11 draft picks this year.
I think we have 9 now or 10.
And we're going to get some more for JFM's contract that he just signed if we don't.
That's next year, though.
Yeah, next year. But I mean, if we don't make a big 6 signing, we will get that too.
So we have 251, 256, and 257?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Now we have 10 picks.
No. Well, on
we only have 246.
We have 246 is ours, and then the comps on PFF mock drafts. Obviously, that hasn't been updated, but it says 251 and 256. So maybe they just projected it, but I think it was taken into account, unless we got. But why would we have gotten 2 more 7s? Because these would have been from losing the punter last year in offseason and losing Javonte, right? It was Javonte and the punter.
That's the other thing I want to bring up. We're not taking part in free agency so we can get a 4th round pick for JFM next year. That's also why.
I know. Somebody in my TikTok comments was like, we're playing the comp pick game. I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about the 2027 draft. We're trying to win it. We were just in the AFC Championship. So all the people like rationalizing the lack of aggression or like the people, the beat writers, they're driving me insane like you, Mark. I'll be the one to say on this show, like towards the end, I don't know if you guys already touched on it, but the fact that the beat writers are just like, this is a fantastic move. Like, listen, guys, you don't have to spill North Korea level propaganda to us. Just
they have to do it to appease Shaw, and that's why they're doing it.
Oh, dude, but I went in on the DNVR live today. I was dying because the comments were going nuts, and they were like, Benny was on there, and Benny Fowler was just keeping it real. He's like, I think it's disappointing, it's awful, blah blah blah, and they were like, he was like, what's the comment section look like? I can't see it, and they all like. It's not good. Like, stay away from it. He's like, I agree with the comments. I'm with the comments. But it was really funny because they were just like, I mean, they kind of admitted like you can only spin it so much. And dude, I don't even hate, like, I hate the spin because it bothers me. But I look at it like, man, if that's what their job is to do, like, that's what their job is to do. I would absolutely quit my job. There's no way I could take that kind of like mental strength to actually put it out there of like, let's try to make this sound good. Like that would be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
It's their boys, man.
Some
like,
of them actually do believe it though, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If I was boys with Alex Singleton, I'd be like, hey, dog, like, I love you as a person, but I understand why they're tripping. I mean, this is what it is.
Dude, you kind of suck at what you do, man.
Like, it was tough, man. Like, if we had an average defense, fine, maybe. And that's the thing. I guess the fact that we had a really good defense, like, works against Alex Singleton.
It does.
Because if he was on an average to below average defense, you won't really notice him as much because everyone else kind of sucks. But, like, it's clear as day because we have guys dominating, and he'd
be a fan favorite on a bad defense.
Yeah, exactly. He would be. Like, when we lost 70-20, no one was talking about, oh, Alex Singleton's the reason. We were talking about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Guys, I'm so sorry, but I got to be wrapping up.
You're good, man.
Getting a little past my bedtime. But, guys, this has been a huge show for Horsepower Hour. Consistently over 300 viewers tonight collectively. This has been awesome. For everybody in the comment section, you guys were fantastic tonight. Hilarious. And only had to ban one person for like name calling. So you guys can have your opinions and make jokes. That's where I draw the line. So appreciate you guys. Please go subscribe to Jeremy, Mark, and Kodiak, especially for his birthday.
Yes,
link is in the description. Kodiak, what's your next follower milestone you're looking to get to right now?
Well, what is my next follower milestone? 2,000. Hopefully I can get that by the time week 1 kicks off against whoever. But more importantly, let's get our boy Mark to 2,000 before the
Not
NFL.
More importantly, let's get us both to 2,000 before the draft, bro.
We're correct. You know, you want to go far, you go together. But over on my channel, since I did join a little late tonight, I am doing Broncos country tonight, or Denver Broncos tonight, or whatever you want to call it. So the fun will not stop. If you guys, anybody on here is welcome to join. You know, the comments will be lit, I'm sure. And yeah, overall, can't wait to talk about with y'all in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, if you want straight opinions, no fluff, no propaganda, follow these boys. Because you're going to get what they're really, really believe. You're not going to get any sort of...
You might not like it, but...
Yeah, you might disagree, but it is their honest opinion.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Again, please go support my friends. They're the ones that make this whole thing special. So thank you guys for joining. We went late tonight. We'll be back again every Monday like we always are. Until then, go Broncos.
Go
He's grabbed and he's going to be sacked.